All right. Good evening, everybody. On behalf of the Owen Sound Sports Hall of Fame Committee, I want to welcome everybody to the Harry Lumley Bayshore Community Center, and thank you for supporting the Owen Sound Sports Hall of Fame Induction Night. While we have a second, once again, can we thank our caterers tonight, Tim and Sarah at the Green Door, for a great meal. Thank you very, very much. And before we start tonight, we want to congratulate Don McLeod and the members of the Sports Hall of Fame Committee. I'm sure tonight is a great night and something they can be justifiably proud of. And we've met the committee already tonight, but let's have a nice hand and thank you very much for keeping this very, very much alive in terms of Owen Sound sporting history. To launch the proceedings tonight, we would like to call on the Mayor of Owen Sound. Please welcome Ian Boddy to come forward.
Good evening. First of all, I want to apologize for messing up Gitche Name Wikwadong. It's not that difficult, Reconciliation Gardens, which is across in Kelso Beach. If you go over by the grain elevators and go across the bridge, it's a very beautiful little park that was built by volunteers, and taking in the fact that the Nawash village was there, and it's really nice to have. So first of all, I want to thank or welcome our MP Alex Ruff and our MPP Rick Byers for joining us tonight. This is great. Thank you. Yep. On behalf of the city, it's great to welcome all of you here tonight and see you all out again, and a big congratulations to all the inductees. You know, so many of us have grown up as little kids watching you guys, or playing with you guys and watching your dads who are here, which is great to see. I want to thank the committee for pulling this together. The second one this year, of course, because of COVID, the 18, 19, 2020, whichever one it was in the spring. 2020, close enough, and this year. So congratulations and welcome, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ian. That was much better than we anticipated, so it's great to have you here tonight. We would ask our MP Alex Ruff to please stand up and be recognized, and also Rick Byers, our MPP, if you'd please stand up. Thank you very, very much for being here. Neither one of them is going to make a speech, and as Brian was saying, that's a good thing, so we're going to move it along. But thank you for being on hand here tonight. And actually, Rick and Alex are going to do double duty tonight in that they'll be making presentations on behalf of the federal government and the provincial government as well. Before we get into the actual inductees of the ceremonies, please welcome Dan Blackburn.
Good evening once again to the Owen Sound Sports Hall of Fame inductee dinner and ceremony for 2022. Thank you for being with us this evening, as well as those of you watching on Rogers Cable TV. We all join together to recognize the athletes, builders, teams who have given their talents to represent the city of Owen Sound and area in sport. As one can imagine, an event such as this would not be possible without our sponsors. The Sports Hall of Fame Committee wishes to say a big thank you for your donation. Names of your sponsors are on your table. Inductees are selected from 3 categories: athlete, builders, team. The format for this evening is as follows. As inductee's name is called, they will make their way to the podium. On the large screen, you will see a profile of the inductees and the accomplishments, achievements, which made them worthy of being inducted into the hall. Each inductee will then receive a certificate for their induction from the committee, presented by one of their members. As well, the inductee will receive a certificate from City of Owen Sound, presented by Mayor Ian Boddy, MP Alex Ruff, and MPP Rick Byers. The inductee will then have the opportunity to say a few words if they wish to do so. Great.
Thank you very much, Dan. Can we thank Dan because he was under a lot of pressure tonight. He's a Leaf fan, so he doesn't have a lot going for him. But Dan, congratulations. And we also want to take a second and welcome all of the former members of the Sports Hall of Fame committee. We're not going to ask you to stand, but to those that have done the legwork through the course of time to get us here tonight, thank you very, very much for making this a great space in Owen Sound. And one final welcome before we get rolling tonight to those that are here with the inductees, supporting their inductees. Thank you for supporting them, and thank you by extension for supporting the Owen Sound Sports Hall of Fame. One of my great observations at these sort of nights is that the inductee can be somewhat shy and bashful about what's transpiring, but those around the inductee are always having a blast. And I think that comes down to two very basic factors. Number one, they're celebrating because somebody very special to them is getting a special acknowledgement. And the other factor, and this was certainly the case in Midland last Saturday, the bar has an awful lot to do with that. So whatever the factor is, thank you for being here, and thank you to those who are here with their inductees. All right, as Dan mentioned, we will call up somebody representing the Sports Hall of Fame committee. We will mention the sponsors and then acknowledge who is being inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame. So to make the first presentation, we have three people coming up: Tracy Woods, Tracy McKay, and Woody. So would Tracy, and Woody please come forward, as we would like to make the first induction. And we'd also ask that our MP, Alex Ruff, come forward, and also Rick Byers and Ian Boddy, if you want to come forward without being called, you come on up too. So thanks for saving my tail. So the first team that we're going to induct tonight have been sponsored by Gary Edmonston, along with Keith Woods, Denise Hewitson, and the Owen Sound Selects fastball team. Please congratulate the Leon's Ladies fastball team. The 1996 Owen Sound Leon's Ladies fastball team won the gold medal as Ontario champions. Building on previous successful seasons, the gold medal at the Provincial Women's Softball Association in '96 was the ignition that launched a very successful run in the following years. Team chemistry and genuine friendships were key factors for Leon's, who were led by longtime coach Gary Edmonston. Members of the team won many individual awards. That included Coach Edmonston, who was the 1995 PWSA Coach of the Year. Pitcher Tracy Arnold was the 1995 PWSA Intermediate Tournament MVP. At first base, Julie Sinclair was the 1995 PWSA Intermediate Championship Tournament top batter. And catcher Cheryl Scott won the 1996 PWSA Intermediate Tournament MVP award. The success of the Leon's Ladies fastball team can be attributed to a number of factors: Coach Gary's philosophies, good team chemistry, and genuine friendships which remained very strong to this day. Congratulations to the Leon's Ladies.
I might need this or not. I'm going to go outside my speech and say, Fred, that slam on the Leafs was kind of mean. So I think it's going to happen this year. So anyways, dear Owen Sound Sports Hall of Fame committee, first of all, I want to thank you for considering the Leon's team. Second of all, of accepting us. But most of all, they made some changes to adapt to one of our players. And that didn't go easy, so we want to recognize that and say thank you for changing the program up for us. After the speeches here, some of our players are going to have to leave because we don't leave friends behind, and some of our friends have got to help Julie get home. So please accept our apologies for stepping out, but we'll be back. But anyways, thank you. So there are many people I have met throughout my life that have guided me and educated me and helped me shape me into the person I am today. The people you meet and the choices you make play a vital role in the person you will become. Is it possible for one person to be so kind and so nurturing and so giving of themselves to live by one golden rule and make such a huge impact on so many people? All my life, I have played many sports, from the dusty ball fields to the cold arenas. I've been blessed with so many teammates and coaches throughout my sporting career. But who would have thought that at the age of 14, making the decision to play fastball at Balmy Beach, otherwise known as the Pit, would be one of the most biggest impacts of my life. I know you're asking yourself, how is playing for this fastball Food City team and then adopted by another great sponsor, Bruce and Liz, Owen Sound Leons, any different from any other competitive sports team? And the answer is simple. It was Gary Evanston. It wasn't that Gary had the best baseball plays or the high-tech secret signals. Everybody knew his signals. But one thing Gary did have was he had the kindest heart, and it spread throughout the team he coached. He worked just as hard on us at practice as he did on the game-winning lineups. We played some extremely tough teams, and every year we would get just a little bit better. The skills Gary taught us went much deeper than the triple plays and the suicide squeeze, or the pep talks that say, stay within yourself, play within yourself. Gary taught us through his own actions the golden rule, to treat people as you would want to be treated. Gary was never too busy for anyone. His home was always open, and he would do anything for almost anyone. In 1996, these girls, we finally accomplished what Gary had been working so hard for, the Ontario Gold Medal. But was this his best accomplishment? I think not. It has been 40 years since those good old days of a dusty ball field, hot dog, and a cold beer. Many things have changed in those 40 years, but the one thing hasn't changed is the friendship of my teammates here, where players give back by coaching young generations, where a player gives a kidney to another in need, or losing a loved one only to have 12 sisters remind you that you're not alone. A player battling brain cancer for over 2 years, yet thinking of others by raising $5,000 for our local families to help them with their cancer journey, and then this year raising another $5,000 for brain cancer research. It doesn't matter if we haven't seen each other in 10 months or 10 years, we're always there for each other. This Leon's fastball team has been fortunate to represent our area with so many accomplishments on and off the field. I thank Gary Evanston, I thank my teammates for the best years, the best friendships, and the values that have taught me to give my very best, because one person can make a difference. Thank you.
So the certificates are going to be presented here. The Leon's ladies fastball team. Thank you very much for the speech too, Tracy. As you can tell, Tracy was a little emotional. She got kind of choked up there. If she thinks the Leafs are winning the Stanley Cup this year, sure, I can appreciate why you'd be crying. And we're going to cut Tracy off right about now. Our next presentation from the Owen Sound Sports Hall of Fame Committee, please welcome Neil McKechnie. The award that Neil, and the welcome, the induction that Neil and our politicians will be presenting is courtesy of Hewitt and Milne, the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 6 in Owen Sound, Key of Owen Sound, and Hal Wright Chevolds. We want to congratulate and welcome to the Owen Sound Sports Hall of Fame, Bill William Coors. Winning the first tournament he ever entered hooked Bill Coors on 5-pin bowling. Bill qualified 25 times for the Ontario Open, which is the most prestigious tournament in five-pin bowling in the province. This feat has been accomplished by only 3 other male bowlers. Bill's major tournament victories included the year-end event in the tournament division in 1974 and in the teaching division in 1978. Those 2 wins propelled Bill to 2 national teams. The 1974 tournament men's team, which won gold in 1974 at St. Catharines, and the 1978 teaching team, which won the silver medal at Calgary. Also in 1978, Bill won Bowler of the Year honors in the teaching division. In 1985, representing Grey Bruce, Bill won the Ontario singles title and traveled to St. John's, Newfoundland for the Canadian Championships. Almost a decade later in 1994, at the Open qualifying round, Bill's 10-game score of 3,077 allowed him to lead the field by 229 pins. Throughout his career, Bill Coors has coached youth bowling. In recognition of his efforts to advance the sport of five-pin bowling, the Grey Bruce Zone presented Bill with the first Tim McQuitty Memorial Award. In 2000, Bill was inducted into the Ontario Five-Pin Bowlers Association Hall of Fame for his many achievements. And tonight, Bill Coors joins the Owen Sound Sports Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much. My friends at the coffee shop are expecting a speech, so I'll just take a moment to give my sport a plug. Five-pin bowling. It has no boundaries. It can be enjoyed by all, from children to seniors and the physically and mentally challenged. There is also a program available for the blind. In my younger years, it kept me out of trouble. And bowling is a sport where you can meet people and make new friends, whether it's for fun, in a league, or in my case, in competition. It's where I met my wife and partner of 46 years ago. Yep. And I'd like to congratulate all the other inductees and thank you for this honor.
Congratulations, Bill. Sports is a great unifier. Obviously, it's going to be great at the coffee shop for you when you get there on Monday. It's interesting, too, that you met your wife through your sport. I was at a wedding last week, and the bride and the groom had met each other in a rugby scrum. So we didn't go very much deeper than that, but it was quite an interesting visual that I had. Our next member of the Owen Sound Sports Hall of Fame to make a presentation tonight, please welcome Brian Mahar. Brian will be presenting an award that is sponsored by Bill MacArthur, by MacArthur Tire, Burner Contracting, and Bumstead Insurance. Congratulations to our next inductee, Tim Abbott. Tim Abbott played both minor hockey and minor lacrosse in Owen Sound. He also represented the Owen Sound Legion Track Club, which was coached by Miles Caskey. In 1973, Tim won the John F. Kennedy International 3-mile cross-country meet, a meet that was held in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. In hockey, Tim was a member of the 1978 Guelph Platers, who were the national champions, winning the Centennial Cup. A true speedster, Tim would use his speed to get breakaways, particularly in lacrosse. In 1976, he played Junior A for Kitchener, racking up 31 goals and 64 points. The following year, Tim returned to Owen Sound and played for the Junior C Forsyth lacrosse team, which won 3 Ontario championships from 1977 to 1979. The 1977 Forsyth team won the bronze medal at the Ontario Summer Games, and in the final game of that tournament, Tim would score 5 times. And in 1980, Tim was a member of the Owen Sound Junior B Signmen, the Ontario lacrosse champions at the Junior B level. That season, Tim would score 38 points in the regular season, and then in the playoffs, he posted an astounding 71 points. Congratulations to Tim Abbott.
So I'm allowed to say something real quick? Okay. I do have a few things I'd like to say, and people that I'd like to recognize that kind of helped us over the years. Not just me, but everybody in minor lacrosse, because it was kind of a small community back then, and same guys were at it for quite a while, and starting with the guy by the name of Jimmy Tennant, who took us on from about novice right to Bantam, I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah. He hung in there, took us everywhere. He was a good man, and he put up a lot of crap. That's what he did, you know. That was one of the things. Before I start and if say anything else, I'd like to thank everybody for being here tonight, and the committee for giving me this induction. You know, like it's a big thing for me to come back to Owen Sound after I've been away for a few years. And I really appreciate it, and I congratulate everybody else that's being inducted tonight. I'm way off here. So.
You haven't changed.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Where am I here? Okay, so I'm sorry. It was after I got the call from Donnie saying that I was inducted, I kind of sat on my couch and thought about all the things that I had accomplished over the years. And, you know, when you think about what you accomplished, it wasn't what you accomplished. It was kind of what you accomplished with great teams, great players, great coaches, and great managers. And along the way that you form friendships forever, wherever you end up and wherever you're living. And boy, did we have a lot of fun doing it. So. As a kid growing up in Owen Sound, it was lacrosse in the summer and hockey in the winter. We spent a lot of time downtown at the old barn during the day, after school, high school lacrosse, and junior and senior. Most of the kids, when you were minor, either hockey or lacrosse around here, you strive to make the Grays in lacrosse or in hockey, and in lacrosse, it was the North Stars. And then in 1973, my dad and Cy Lemon took over the junior C team, got it going. It has turned out Owen Sound into one of the best lacrosse towns anywhere. It kept a lot of us off the streets and somewhere to play after minor lacrosse. Along the way, you have, sorry. You never forget the ones of the biggest one. Oh, I'm sorry, here we go. One of the biggest things that happened to me as a kid, once I got to junior lacrosse, was at 15 years of age, I got called up for my first game with the North Stars. You know, like, I mean, getting called up for the North Stars at any age when you're still a junior is a pretty good thing. But it just so happened in 1975 when I got called up for my first game, my dad was still playing. You know, so we went out there and it started off great. Started off really good, actually. And then about I don't know how long it was before there started to it turned into a little bit of a scrum, and the referees asked my dad to leave the game. Politely. Yeah, politely asked my dad to leave the game. So he was gone, and there I was out there by myself and all these guys, and like, I mean, I knew most of the guys anyway, so that was a good thing, and they all looked after me. And you know, probably one of the best things that happened after that, though, is I scored my first goal that game. And it turned out that I scored the goal against the future North Star, which was Gary Pallas. I think there's probably a lot of guys in here that remember him. So that was a big night for me. You know, the only thing that I wish had happened that night is when my dad and we were out there for warm-up, somebody had got a picture, because nobody ever got a picture of that. And, you know, things like that don't happen very often in senior lacrosse or anywhere where you get a chance to play a game with your dad at any level. So that was a big, big part of my life, that one. You know, something that you never forget. Oh, sorry. Jimmy Tennant, yeah. You know, actually after that, like, I mean, there was Jimmy Tennant. Then we had a juvenile team, or actually it turned out to be a Bantam juvenile midget team. Kaz remembers that. You remember that, right? and what a crew. It was, you know what, we had a lot of fun, and that was Mark's dad, Harry Sr., Bill Waltberg, and a guy by the name of Doug Woods, who a lot of people in here will remember. And then the junior C team came along, and that was with Cy and my dad, and then Cubby and Bill Kupski, Harry Jr., Harry Sr. were among a great group, and George Watson were among a great group of people that turned that junior C team into a championship team that won 4 in a row. And there was a few of us that were on all 4 of those teams, and you know, like, I mean, some good teams. Like, I mean, at the start it was a junior C team, and then it turned into a junior B team. Our first year in junior B, we won the All-Ontario Championship. You know, so, and they call us a bunch of farmers. They did. They thought, like, I mean, you're playing a lot of Toronto teams back then and stuff like that, and we took it to them. We had to take it to them in the 7th game of the All-Ontarios, but we did win the game in Owen Sound. That old barn was full that night. You know. Boy, we had fun after that one, too. You know, we did. That's, you know, that was part of me, though. I always enjoyed myself, so, you know, yeah, I did. You know, and then, you know, and then it goes along with the North Stars and stuff like that. Like, that was the thing. Everybody wanted to be a North Star back then, you know. So when you graduate from junior, then you go to the North Stars, and there was Jack McGregor and George Watson and a variety of coaches, and Rick Fernal, you know. They looked after all us guys all the way through. So that was my lacrosse side of things. And then onto the hockey side. And I hope I'm not taking up too much of your time, but just these are people that I want to recognize. You know, it started out, I had a guy by the name of Jerry Reed, who some people in here will remember, for sure. And John Snyder, who I understand just passed away recently. Then in Pee Wee, it was Flea Christie and Harry Henderson. Bantam was Dave Warden and George Follis, followed by Cliff McMillan. I played 1 year midget, and then I went to the Grays after that. There's one guy, though, that really needs no introduction, what was like a second father to a lot of us guys, and that is Ray McKelvey, and he's here tonight, you know. Ray did look after a lot of us guys, like, I mean, all the way through. In minor hockey, Ray was there for us, you know. My dad was still playing senior A hockey at the time, so there was a lot of times when I needed a ride to the rink or you know, just whatever. Ray was the man that was there, not just for me, for everybody at that time. And you know, it means a lot to a lot of guys, and especially to me, for everything they've done, not just for me, but for everybody. You know, so thanks a lot, Ray. I really appreciate everything you've done. Yeah. Then it was on to the Grays. I'm giving you my whole life story here. Just the Owen Sound part of it, though. You don't want to hear the whole thing. Like, I mean, and then it was on to the Grays with Shifty and Arnold Shaw and Bob Govier, you know. And there was a really hard-working executive there all the time, too. Like, that's where I got to know Donnie pretty well back then. So at that time, that was about 1975, too, I think, or around there. Hey, Kaz? Something like that, you know. And then Donnie and I ended up, after the Grays folded up, we went to Guelph, and that's when we won the championship down there. Then Donnie came back, and I stayed another 2 years after that. And then the next year after that, we got to the finals, and then Prince Albert kicked our butt like we kicked their butt the year before, so it didn't work out that good for us. But anyways, and the Legion track team, like, I mean, I was a member of the Legion track team and that, and there was Miles Caskey, who basically trucked us all over the country, Canada and the States. And he had the help of a wonderful couple named Peter and Ann Rainsford, probably two of the nicest people that you'd ever want to meet. And they looked after, they were they were like a mom and dad on the road for all us guys too when we were younger. Wonderful people. So in closing, I didn't mention my buddies' names. There are too many of them, just because, you know, I was scared if I started bringing up names and I missed some, that I don't want to be making anybody mad at me tonight. So, you know, well, I haven't done much in the last couple of years with these guys just because of the COVID and that, but we have an old-timers team over here that I kept on coming over for. I've never lost contact with these guys. And also we had a Masters lacrosse team that we were playing with for quite a few years until it stopped just, well, a couple of years before COVID. And, you know, it's friendships that you make when you're in minor hockey that you continue to have all the way through. That's what it's all about. You know, it's friendships that you're never ever going to lose. You know, like I mean, this guy here, we were out of contact for I don't know how long, and we got hooked up with the lacrosse again because he was way down south and I was this way, and after that we've been connected for probably 25 years again now. You know, it's amazing with just how hockey and lacrosse and stuff like that brings everybody back together. You know, even after you haven't seen anybody for so long. So, you know. Oh, in closing. In closing, yeah, I'm almost done. I didn't think it was going to be this long when I wrote it out because I practiced it about 20 times, but I've made a mistake by making it longer than what it was. You know, like I mean, I like coming back here all the time and being with the guys. I'm not that far away, but I'll tell you, when I come over top of the escarpment on the East Hill, I know I'm back home, and this is where I'm from, and I love Owen Sound, and I will always love Owen Sound. So that's the end. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for those brief remarks, Tim. There were a lot of great names and a lot of great memories there, Tim. Well done. Although I know that Marie Lemon's going to be shocked that she was married to Cy Young all those years, but to welcome our next inductee, please welcome from the committee, Bill Simpson. The presentation that Bill is going to make is being presented by Decor Design, by Brian Davenport, by Transcontinental, and by the Framery. To the Owen Sound Sports Hall of Fame, please welcome John Very. John Very played minor lacrosse and minor hockey in Owen Sound. In hockey, as a minor Bantam age player, John was a member of the 1986-87 Owen Sound Minor Midgets who won the Ontario Championship. Previously, he was a member of the 1984 Pee Wee A Ontario Championship team and a member of the 1984 Pee Wee Silver Medal Canadian Championship team. Following his days in minor hockey, John played a handful of games as a 15-year-old for the Tier 2 Owen Sound Greys in 1986-87. He followed that with a full season of Junior B hockey when the Greys returned to that level of play. In 1988, John Very was drafted 7th overall in the opening round of the Ontario Hockey League's priority selection taken by the North Bay Centennials. In the Ontario Hockey League, John played from 1988 to 1992 with North Bay and later the Kingston Frontenacs, and he also played for the Ontario Under-17 team in 1988. At the National Hockey League entry draft in 1990, John was selected by the New York Rangers in the 3rd round, 55th overall. As a pro, John played 13 seasons of pro hockey. He was a member of the 1995 Wichita Thunder, the winners of the CHL Championship, and he was a member of the 1999 Muskegon Fury, who won the UHL Championship. Individually, John was named as the outstanding defenseman in the UHL in 1998 and was selected as a CHL All-Star 3 times. Currently, John Very resides in Owen Sound with his wife and his 2 daughters. Congratulations to John Very.
I promise I won't talk that much. First of all, congratulations to all the inductees tonight. It's such an incredible feat to get this honor, and thank you to the selection committee for giving me this this honor, and it's incredible, and I'm truly humbled and grateful. To my family, and you always were with me on this whole journey. I truly appreciate all your support. I'd like to thank Darwin Reed for the nomination. Darwin's not only been a lifetime friend of myself and my family. He was also alongside Terry Rupenthal as my first hockey coach ever. So thank you, Darwin. As an athlete, we always hope we can win championships, and it's not an easy thing to do. And I was fortunate to win two. And both of the championships that I won were the years that my two daughters were born. So I consider them both my lucky charms, and they were always my biggest fans and supporters. To my wife, Robin, who's been with me throughout the whole journey, 36 years we've been together, and she's always been there. But I'd like to thank my parents, John and Barb, the most. My dad, I can't thank him enough. My second year in the OHL, he made every hockey game. He was there for 66 hockey games, home and away. He was there the whole time in playoffs. And you got to remember, my home rink was in North Bay. So he drove from Owen Sound to every single game. So thank you so much, Mom and Dad. Like I said, I won't talk too long, but I will tell you one story just in closing. We're fortunate as athletes to play with great players. In my last couple of years, I did get to play with great players, and I played in Port Huron, which was close to home. We bought a home here in Owen Sound, and we wanted to settle down and have our kids stop switching schools and get their lifelong friends and everything. But anyway, we're on the bus, and we used to go through Canada when we played in New York State. And I played alongside with a fellow by the name of Brent Gretzky. And he came up to me on the bus and he said, "John, do you think the fellows would like to stop at Mom and Dad's house, for a little visit, spend a little couple hours or whatever?" And at first I thought, I don't think the guys want to stop at my Mom and Dad's house. But anyway, I think we all knew who his parents were and whatever. So that was such a highlight to my career, and to be able to stay and visit with them for a couple hours, whatever. It was truly incredible. Those are the moments, and that's how humble all of Ontario and Canada and our parents are and the support they give us. So thank you so much. It's truly appreciated. And one more person I'd like to thank is Fred. Fred was always there, and he's the one, he called me a few times just to see how I was doing wherever I was, and he'd let you all know how we were doing, the local guys, wherever. So thank you so much, Fred, for this. It's truly appreciated. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Congratulations, John. I think it goes without saying that if you'd have had more daughters, you'd have won more championships. So I think that's kind of I'm not going to blame Robin for that, but hey. And John also mentioned his family. It's great to see them here. I know Barb is extremely proud of you, John, but she told me distinctly that she wants to get on Grandma Goes to Rama, so we'll see if we can try and get that worked out here tonight for Barb, because she can't get through on the phone line. To make our next presentation from the Owen Sound Sports Hall of Fame, we'd like to welcome Mark Kazarian. The next induction plaque is being sponsored by Shale and Harold Sutherland, longtime supporters of sports, by Owen Sound Subaru, by RBC Wealth Management, and by the Owen Sound Firefighters. Congratulations to Peter Kazarian. Born and raised in Owen Sound, Peter Kazarian played both minor hockey and minor lacrosse. In lacrosse, Peter excelled playing Junior B, Major A, and Senior B, plus also played at the pro level in the National Lacrosse League. In 1989, and again in 1991, Peter was with the Owen Sound North Stars, who won the President's Cup Canadian Senior B Championship. In 1996, Peter was a member of the Six Nations Chiefs as they won the Mann Cup. Peter is in both the Canadian Lacrosse Hall of Fame with the Chiefs and in the Owen Sound Sports Hall of Fame with the North Stars. Individually, Peter was a co-recipient of the Outstanding Defensive Player for Junior B Lacrosse in 1986 and again in 1987. He was also awarded the Yorkie Jordan Player of the Year Award in 1991 and again in 1992. In hockey, Peter played for the Durham Huskies in the late 1980s, and while he lived in Hamilton while attending college, he played for the Dundas Blues and was a member of their Niagara Region Championship team. Peter has been the convener for the Harry Kazarian Memorial Father's Day Lacrosse Tournament. It was held in 5 different venues around our region, and that included Meaford, where he seemingly was stationed on an annual basis. After finishing his playing career, Peter refereed for a number of years at the minor lacrosse and junior levels. Peter Kazarian continues to follow lacrosse in Owen Sound, supporting fundraisers and following family members as they continue to contribute to the sport of lacrosse.
Thanks, Fred.
You're welcome.
Well, I did write a speech too, just like Abby, but not quite as long. Hang on. Oh, shoot. That's my bun. That's where it went. I was wondering where that went. I knew it went somewhere. I thought someone stole it off my plate. Yeah. Anyway, and I want to start by thanking my supporters that came my table there and this table over here, and thank you very much for coming. My family for submitting my name for nomination. I'd like to thank them, especially my sisters, Lisa and Maria. They were the ones that put my name forth. And I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame committee for accepting me as a worthy recipient of this most prestigious honor, to join so many great builders, teams, and athletes as a member of the Hall of Fame. And I'd also like to congratulate all of the other fellow inductees that are here tonight. Congratulations, and you all deserve it. I've met many lifelong friends through my sports career with whom I still keep in touch with. I have a few people I'd like to mention specifically that played special roles and shared some of my experiences. My parents, who funded my minor sports career and were always there to support me. I love them both, and I wish they were here to witness this moment with me. I'm truly blessed to be fortunate enough to have them support me as I grew up, and I'm grateful for all they've done for me, even though at times I could be a handful, which Fred Wallace had the fortunate experience of witnessing one night when we were in Nanaimo. But my father, Harry Kazarian Sr., he taught me what sportsmanship meant to any game and in life in general. My mother, Doris Kazarian, who I've always considered the mother of lacrosse in Owen Sound, all the sandwiches she made over the years for me and my travel companions, and Green Dog, who was Mike Green, and Jason Koppel, Ron Chatelaine, Big Train, Matt Firth. Loaves of bread at a time. That's just all I can say. She just was always making sandwiches. So, but for you that don't know, my life in lacrosse was always traveling. When I played for the North Stars, I lived in Hamilton, and then when I came home in 1992, the North Stars organization folded, so I ended up playing lacrosse in Fergus with the Fergus Thistles. Thanks to Ted Abbott and the late Mac Mason, who convinced me that I should keep playing. There was just a lot of road travels and a lot of games on the road, and it was hours of travel. So, but yeah, like when I finally got done playing in Fergus, which I spent 3 years playing there, I decided I was going to retire, and then Bobby McNabb and Cap Bomberry convinced me I should be driving to Six Nations to play after I was back in Owen Sound. So, which I'll come back to that. But But I still remember the day my lifelong neighbor and friend Mike Roberts, AKA Slick, and his father, the late John Roberts, stopped on 15th Street where I grew up and asked me if I wanted to go to the registration for minor lacrosse. I remember running into the house and asking my parents if that was okay, and they said yes. So I believe I was 5 years old at the time. And yeah, so that's where it all started. And it wasn't long after that, I was playing with the lacrosse ball in the lobby at the old arena on 2nd Avenue. And I put the ball through the front glass window, smashed the window, and I ran and hid behind the old Canadian Tire. You'd have to know, if you remember. So I hid back there till they finally found me. And all was forgiven. It was, but yeah, that was. There are some special people that played important roles in my life. The late Jack Millen, he always believed in me as a hard worker and a team player. Jack was present through the majority of my junior lacrosse years, and I thank and salute Jack. God bless him. Rick Furno, Rick had confidence in me to bring me up from the junior ranks as a fill-in for the North Stars when they were short players. In my last 2 years of junior, I played as many games in the Senior B League as I did in the Junior League. And Rick was also instrumental in my joining the Brantford Warriors in 1991 in the inaugural year of the National Lacrosse League. Rick once referred to me in the dressing room as the best extra a team could ever have. And believe it or not, that was a compliment. As for inspirations, well, my brother Paul is an example. He broke his foot in Wallaceburg one night while playing for the North Stars, and I'm not sure if it was in the game or during a bar brawl. But for the rest of the season, he hobbled off the end of the bench and took face-offs for the North Stars and then hobbled back because he was a really good draw man. And that kind of, my dad always said, you know, get up, son, it's a long way from your heart. My brother Mark, who I was fortunate to play alongside of in the Senior B ranks, one of the toughest competitors in the game I ever played with. Mark, you were amazing. You taught me so many things. Oh, I don't even know where I'm going. Now I feel like Abby. I'm not even sure what page I'm on. But, yeah, brother, you taught me leadership, discipline, sportsmanship, competitiveness, and you helped shape me into the player I became. And for all those lessons, I thank you. I really do. Bobby McNabb, I said I'd come back to you. Thank you for convincing me to come out of retirement and go play in Six Nations, something I will never regret, other than the night we rolled the truck. Well, sorry, other than the night I rolled the truck. And I'm glad you and Slick, my buddy, I'm glad we're all here to joke about it still. But oh yeah, sorry, I forgot. There was a night Slick hurt his back. We were pushing my car out of I got stuck in the parking lot of the Durham Arena when we were playing for the Huskies. And Slick was trying to push me out. He ended up hurting his back. I think you still ache from that, don't you? Oh, you're a good friend, Slick. My post-playing years were also rewarding. I had the pleasure of convening the Meafort arena portion of my father's Memorial Lacrosse Tournament for many years. I annually saw friends that I had met over the years and was proud to see they were helping keep the sport alive by involving their children. Terry King convinced me that I could also continue to contribute to the sport by refereeing, and he helped mentor me through refereeing minor lacrosse. And Terry, I appreciate those years as well. My wife, Wanda, you supported me unconditionally over all those years. staying up late waiting for me to come home. I remember coming home from a trip from Peterborough one night at 4 a.m. and when I walked through the door, Wanda put the song Birthday by the Beatles for my 25th birthday on, and yeah, thank you, honey, I love you. All that being said, again, I thank the Sports Hall of Fame Committee and everyone for recognizing me for this opportunity. Thank you. Put that right in there with my bun.
I wish you had told them the Bangor story. 3 guys, 1 man.
Congratulations, Peter, and good luck with that bun. The incident that Peter was referring to in Nanaimo, I guess the last time that I was officially arrested, the RCMP had me in a car outside of the motel in Nanaimo, and as they were cuffing me, I looked up on the balcony, and all I could see was Peter and Mike Green, and I'm not sure what they were doing with the fire, but the smoke was just everywhere, so the cops certainly got their man. And it's good to know we're in good hands with the RCMP. Next up from the Sports Hall of Fame Committee, please welcome Dan Blackburn. The presentation that Dan is going to be making is courtesy of the Crescent Club by Terry King and Associates, and it's great that Terry's here tonight, along with Owen Sound Hyundai. Congratulations to our next inductee, Chris Menard. Chris Menard played minor hockey in Owen Sound and later Junior B with the Grays. He was the first-round draft pick of the Owen Sound Platers of the Ontario Hockey League in 1998. Chris also played in the OHL for the Toronto St. Michael's Majors and for the Oshawa Generals. He began his professional hockey career in 2002 with the Pensacola Ice Pilots of the ECHL, and Chris eventually worked his way to the National Hockey League, playing for both the Pittsburgh Penguins and later with the Edmonton Oilers. In 2009, the Penguins won the Stanley Cup, and Chris Menard was with that team as a member of their Black Aces. During the 04-05 season, he played for the ECHL champion Alaska Aces. During the NHL lockout that year, he was playing on a line with Scott Gomez. Gomez had returned to his hometown of Anchorage for that season. With the Aces, Menard posted career highs in goals scored, leading Gomez to suggest to the New Jersey Devils that they give Chris a look, which in turn led to stints in the American Hockey League, first with the Albany River Rats and later the Lowell Devils. Chris Menard would make his National Hockey League debut on January 21st, 2008 against the Washington Capitals. He scored his first NHL goal on March 12th of that year, beating Ryan Miller of the Buffalo Sabres. Chris continued to play in the European hockey leagues until 2017, when he opted to end his professional career after 15 seasons. Today, Chris Menard continues to participate in coaching minor hockey and also hosting skill camps around the Grey and Bruce region.
I definitely won't be as long as Tim and Peter, that's for sure. First of all, I want to thank the Hall of Fame Committee for the induction, and congratulations to all the inductees for such a great night and something we should all be proud of. Okay, 15 years of professional hockey, 5 years of junior hockey, 8+ years of minor hockey here in Owen Sound, as well as with the Grey Bruce Highlanders. Thanks to all my coaches along the way. I had a few written down here. I had Brian Warlow from Major Pee Wee and Junior B, but I can't leave out Sean Kruger's here from that year as well, and Jason Gallagher from that year as well. Mike Myatt, you coached me in baseball. Wherever you are, you're in here tonight. Mark Kazarian was a big influence on me for sure with his son Brian and coaching in Adam and other years after that. Brian O'Leary, you're here as well tonight. You did trade me Appreciate that. Maybe one of the best things that happened out there. But I still remember the phone call after you traded me and you said I was a good kid, and I kind of wondered, I don't know, but thank you. Since I was 6, I remember running around the Bayshore, and there was the Hockey Hall of Fame out kind of in the old Bayshore. It was down there, it was all glassed up, and the trophies and the pictures and everything. And it's not something you really think of when you're running around causing trouble throughout the arena, but it's quite an honor to be here today, and I'm real excited. My family billeted the platers in the attack since I was 6 years old, so I always had somebody to look up to and big brothers in the house to kind of follow along throughout the days. But names like Ray Edwards, Jamie Storr, Dan Snyder, Joel Ward, just to name a few. Some I played with, some I was a little brother to. Obviously Joel Ward is, maybe the best human on the planet, and to be alongside him, and we had bedrooms next door to each other, and things definitely got interesting with him around. From Owen Sound, minor hockey, and then on to Grey Bruce Highlanders, then to the Junior B Greys and the Owen Sound Attack. Or the Owen Sound Platers back then. Then eventually got to pro hockey, where our first ever billet was Ray Edwards, and he was my first coach my first 2 years of pro hockey. So it's kind of a small world. From there, Alaska Aces and winning a championship, Scott Gomez kind of leading the way, helping with me and getting my pro career going to the New Jersey organization. It took 5 years before I could sign my first NHL contract, and that's something that you don't see very often. And I was quite proud that one day I remember sitting in my apartment here up by Hillcrest and signing that contract. Was pretty cool. 6 months later, scoring my first NHL goal, something you'll always remember. Also winning a championship with Alaska, the Kelly Cup. And being part of the Stanley Cup champions with the Pittsburgh Penguins. I always say I wasn't part of the team. I was a black ace, but sure partied like it. And I remember the night after we won, bringing it back to the hotel. My wife was there. She was pregnant at the time with our oldest son. And she met us in the lobby at 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning maybe. But it was me and Coach Bylsma in the cab together with the Stanley Cup. And just one of those memories you'll always remember. I have to say thank you to my parents, Wendy and Roger, working multiple jobs and driving all over the world, really, to support my brother and I in playing the sport that we loved. Thank you. One of the best things about hockey is growing up with the friends that you have, and being drafted to the OHL in the exact same year as one of my teammates, Brian Kazarian, was one of the special things that I'll always remember. And a lifelong friendship with him that will continue forever. To my beautiful wife, Stacy, since 1998, we've been best friends, and you've been my biggest supporter. I thank you. Our 3 beautiful children, Chase, Mannix, and Mila. I'm extremely proud of the kids you are becoming, and the future and the individuals you are. Thanks to my friends that have attended today. I appreciate your support, and I know you're going to have a chuckle when we get out of here, because me in public speaking is not the best thing. And also, as of now, I'm in the community. I have a little fitness training center, and I do a lot of on-ice skills and coaching, and there's nothing better than coaching. And I sat down after practice last night, and I told my wife I love this group I'm coaching right now. And it's just a special group of kids. They're U13 Highlander kids that we have 12 new AAA kids, and it's at the major Pee Wee level when you bring in 12 new kids, and it's going to be an experience, and I'm really looking forward to coaching and continuing helping kids throughout the community for years to come. Thank you. Have a great night.
Congratulations, Chris Menard. Who did we get in that trade, Brian?
Ask Ray McKelvey, he traded.
Oh, okay. So you just made the phone call. Ray made the trade. All right. Well, if Ray was involved, then that's pretty good. And I'm pretty sure Ray's got a mask on tonight, and I'm not sure that Chris didn't do that to him. So you don't trade an Owen Sound guy, Ray. Keep that in mind. Next, I'd like to welcome from the committee Jane McIver. In a bit of an irony, the next award is sponsored by Ray McKelvey, by the Owen Sound Attack of the Ontario Hockey League, by First Student, and by Neil and Sharon McKechnie. The next inductee into the Owen Sound Sports Hall of Fame is Andrew Brunette. Andrew Brunette grew up in Valley East near Sudbury, Ontario, and played minor hockey with Rayside Balfour. Drafted by the Owen Sound Platers in 1990, Andrew played for the Platers for 3 years from 1990 to 93. In those 3 seasons, he collected 295 points, highlighted by his final season in the OHL, 92-93, when he had 62 goals and 100 assists, leading the OHL in scoring and winning the Eddie Powers Memorial Trophy. Andrew Brunette was the Owen Sound franchise all-time points leader until 2007, when his career mark was broken by Bobby Ryan. However, Andrew's .5 per game average has never been touched. Drafted by the Washington Capitals, Andrew Brunette went on to play more than 1,100 NHL games with Washington, Nashville, Atlanta, Minnesota, Colorado, and finally Chicago. During his NHL career, he had 285 goals and more than 750 points. And at one point, he played 509 consecutive games. Since retiring from the NHL, Andrew has continued to play a role in hockey operations in different capacities, and that included being the head coach of the President's Trophy winning Florida Panthers last year. Earlier this year, Andrew joined the New Jersey Devils as an assistant coach to Lindy Ruff. In February 2014, a banner was raised here at the Harry Lumley Bayshore in the J.D. MacArthur Arena to commemorate the Owen Sound OHL career of Andrew Brunette.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jason Gallagher. I had the fortunate time when Andrew played here in Owen Sound. He billeted with our family, and we became brothers, as much as my father and stepmother became a second set of parents to Andrew. And I don't think that video did Andrew justice, the lip reading, because there's 2 character traits that I describe Andrew the best. One is his work ethic. Because of his poor skating ability, they said he had no chance of playing the OHL. And that season he had where he had 162 points proved a lot of people wrong. Then he gets drafted, and people said, well, he's never going to be able to skate well enough to play in the NHL. And he proved a lot of people wrong. And that had a lot to do with how well and how hard he worked. The second character trait I describe best about Andrew is just how genuinely of a great person he is. If you got to know Bruno, and that's how he's known all over North America, from the relationships he's developed in hockey, he's a fantastic gentleman. He's talking to him the other night. He's disappointed he wasn't able to come here. He found that he was so happy to come to Owen Sound. He felt the community embraced him. He felt this as a second home to all the places he's played in North America, and that has a lot to do with the kind of people that are here tonight. And congratulations to all the inductees. You guys are all well-deserving individuals and teams as well. He has some special recognitions that Andrew would like to honor to some people. One of them was my father and my stepmother. There's many nights in Andrew's first year and a half, those point totals that he put up was basically in a year and a half that he actually played regularly in the OHL. The first year and a half, he struggled to get into the lineup and play on a second or a third line. And my dad did a lot of consoling and supporting him along the way. He'd also like to thank Fred Wallace. Fred and him have had a long-lasting relationship over the years. Anytime we talk to Bruno, it's just, how's Freddie doing? How's Freddie doing? And Freddie you don't realize how much you mean to the people of Owen Sound, the support you provide people, the recognition, like John mentioned earlier, always connecting with the guys from this community. It's fantastic, and it's much appreciated. So thank you, Fred. And last but not least is Ray McKelvey. I mean, it's an honor, Ray, that there's a lot of people in here tonight are acknowledging you, and the impression you made on Andrew and every other OHL player that comes to play in this community. You're more than a father figure. You're more than the face of the franchise. You care about these kids, and that goes a long way, right? So we really appreciate that. So thank you guys on behalf of Andrew, and thank you to the Hall of Fame committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jason. And just as a statistical note, in terms of Owen Sound players who have graduated from our program and gone on to the National Hockey League, Andrew's goal total is 268, and no Owen Sound player has ever scored more. Wayne Simmons conceivably could bypass him this year, but I think, you know, as Jason said, those are two very good stories about guys that maybe weren't given every opportunity until they worked for it. So, Jason, thank you very, very much, and for passing on the regards from Andrew. From our committee, we would like to welcome Sharon McKechnie to make the next presentation. We move from athletes to the builders. This award is being sponsored by Nickel Insurance, by Mark and Lynn Kazarian, and by the Runner's Den. Congratulations to our first builder to be inducted tonight, Fred Cathray. For a quarter of a century, beginning in 1982, Fred Cathray coached in the Ringette Association at a variety of levels, including bunny, novice, petite, tween, junior, and Bella. Fred was instrumental in initiating the bunny level of play, which featured youngsters from age 3 to 7. Through the course of time, Fred has coached hundreds of children and also served as league statistician, convener, and co-convener of the year-end Grey Bruce Ringette Tournament. In 1999, Fred Cathray was awarded the Pat Redmond Award for special contribution to Ringette. In 2006, Fred received the Ringette Provincial Community Builder of the Year Award and was named the Regional Volunteer of the Year. Fred Cathray also coached minor basketball from 1983 to 89, minor lacrosse in the early 80s, and minor hockey in the mid-80s. For 10 years, Fred and his wife Wendy were the co-conveners of the annual Owen Sound Harry Kazarian Memorial Father's Day Lacrosse Tournament. In 2009, Fred and Wendy won the Owen Sound Minor Lacrosse Award for Volunteer of the Year. Almost every sport organization in Owen Sound has reached out to Fred Cathray for his support through the years. In turn, Fred tirelessly supported community events and functions that gave children the opportunity to play and participate in sports.
First, I'd like to thank Maria and Amanda Jones for the nomination, and the Hall of Fame committee for accepting that. Congratulations to all other recipients. This is a great honor, and I feel privileged to be here. Thanks to my wife, Wendy, who will always be at my side, except tonight when she should be here speaking, but anyways. Our daughter, Carrie, and our son, Christopher, for their support, dedication, and commitment. Without them, I would not have received this award. In 1980, I was asked by a fellow worker and a good friend, Rick Beanie, to help him coach my son's minor lacrosse team. I told him at the time, I said, I know nothing about it. And he said, Fred, all you need to know is that treat everybody fair, be fair, and have fun. Which I tried to do throughout my time. He also added, if you do this, you will succeed which I guess maybe that's why I'm standing here. I don't know. But what I did, I accepted that as my philosophy, and throughout my career, that's what I did. That's how I coached. And I think it was successful. In 1982, another great friend, John Halliday, asked me to fill in as coach for my daughter Carrie's ringette team at a tournament in Tara. We were hooked, and ringette became part of our family. My appreciation goes out to all the people that we were involved with. Well, over these years, we had nothing but fun and good times. And when you can include your family, it's that much better. I don't think I have much more to say other than the fact that throughout life, I'm sure, unlike others, we have a bucket list. One of the things on my bucket list was to try to get ringette into the Owen Sound Hall of Fame, which I guess I have succeeded. So that pretty much fills my wishes as far as the sports go. This is a dream come true. Always think positive and try your best. And one more thank you, and that's to my buddy, Amanda. You're the greatest. Okay. And Chris, have a happy birthday.
Congratulations, Fred. A lot of long hours, lacrosse and ringette, well earned. Congratulations. It's past his bedtime? Okay. Okay. I guess we're all going to get there, right, Fred? So our final inductee presentation will be made from the committee. Our committee member is Dan Blackburn. The award is being sponsored by Judy Juniper, by Shelley Blackburn and Arbonne International, and by the Norm Armstrong family. And if you can't guess who we're going to induct, he kind of jumped the queue here, Irene. Is that you're doing? You guys in a hurry to get out of here? Congratulations, Mike Myatt. Under the guidance of Claire Christie in the mid-90s, Mike Myatt embarked on a career in recreation that began with the City of Owen Sound as program coordinator. In 1977, along with his brother Peter, the Owen Sound minor baseball program was founded. There were 120 youngsters registered in that first year, a number that would multiply by 10 times by 1993. As participation numbers grew, additional diamonds were required, and that task too would be taken on by the Myatt brothers. In 1985, Tom Williams Park was erected, an Owen Sound baseball complex that would further assist the growth of baseball in the city. Along with the gameplay, there were also prospect camps conducted thanks to Mike's contacts with both the Toronto Blue Jays and the Pittsburgh Pirates. In 1980, Mike was asked to assist with minor soccer. After organizing a launch day, minor soccer in Owen Sound took off and has never, ever looked back. 15 years later, Mike, in coordination with minor soccer and the Kiwanis Club, developed the soccer pitches now known as the Kiwanis Soccer Complex in Owen Sound, the envy of almost every soccer community in the province. In hockey, Mike began coaching in the late 70s, and in his 25th year of coaching in Owen Sound, he was an OMHA champion with his midget AEA team. Recreation and coaching have been in the bloodline for Mike Myatt. As a professional and now as an active volunteer, Mike Myatt has left a lifetime stamp on sports, especially for youth in the city of Owen Sound.
Oh, thanks very much, and it's great to be here tonight. It's been 20 years since I left Saugeen, Owen Sound, I should say, and went to Saugeen Shores, and it's just great to be back. And in a lot of ways, I miss the city, but I live in a great community in Saugeen Shores too. Dan, I wanted to say a big thank you to you and your committee for bestowing this honor upon me tonight. It's truly very humbling. And Fred said earlier to me tonight, he said, keep it under 30 minutes. Dan, you said, keep it 2 or 3 minutes. And my wife said, for Pete's sake, don't repeat yourself. So I guess on the way home, if I do repeat myself, I'll probably hear it from Jean. But I wanted to thank the entire committee, but also the people here tonight, Joyce all the way from Seaforth, and my sister-in-law and my sister Irene's here tonight, and my great friends Dan and Jane Mock, Kevin O'Brien at the back, great friend, and my niece Michelle, and of course, what can I say about my wife Jean, you know, and then Jeff and Andy, my 2 sons. I'll talk about them a little bit in a sec. But Jean, you know, over the 25 years of coaching, you know, you need a lot of support, right? When you walk out that door, those cold winter nights, and you got 2 kids at home. You need a lot of support, and Jean always gave me that support, and I truly appreciate all you've done for me over the years, Jean, really. Yeah. You know, I was, the 25 years I spent on the field, you know, I always said that it's really all about, it's not so much the induction here tonight, but it's about developing children through sport and making a difference in a young child's life. And that's what I enjoyed the most. That's what got me right here. And there's nothing more rewarding. There's nothing more rewarding than you're in Canadian Tire and you get a tap in your shoulder. And a young lad comes up to you, well, young man now, comes up to you and says, Mr. Myatt. And you look at him, and you know, it's been 20, 30 years since you saw that young lad. And he said, thanks so much. You know, thanks so much for making a difference in my life. And what a great experience you gave us as athletes back when we were kids. That's what means a lot to me is when you get the social media email, you know, it comes across and saying thanks, Mr. Myatt, for all you've done. That's what means a lot. And you know, these kids becoming better community citizens. And I think that's what coaching really does for a coach like myself and people in the room. A lot of people have coached, and you know what I'm talking about. But you know, I took a walk down the Hall of Fame this past week. My wife and I took a drive over because I wanted to see who the builders were, you know, that came before me, and it's pretty humbling, you know, to see my name beside those individuals, and you say to yourself, do I really deserve this? Because these people are truly remarkable people. I look at Bill Simpson, you know, and Lloyd, and I got to tell you a little story about Simp, eh, Bill? Bill's a big fastball guy, and I was a big baseball guy, hardball, Toronto Blue Jay style. And so there wasn't any animosity between the Simpsons and the Myatts. We were baseball, they were fastball guys. But they did what they had to do, and we did what we had to do as baseball guys. But anyway, the first guy I met coming in the door tonight was Bill Simpson. Right? So me, the lover of baseball, Bill, the lover of fastball, and he come over to me, made a beeline, and said, Mike, I'm the only guy that didn't vote for you tonight. I said, Simp, if your dad hear that, he'd be very disappointed. But the Simpsons, what a great name in the community, eh? The Simpson family, and Jamie's involved now, Bill. And yeah, you did great work for fastball. And my friend Ray McKelvey, as I go through, and Ray's been mentioned several times tonight, but in my career, you know, with Parks and Recreation in the city of Owen Sound for 26 years, 10 years I spent alongside Ray McKelvey he was the treasurer and president, past president. He held every position in minor hockey, and 33 years with the Owen Sound Attack. I know people have paid accolades to Ray tonight, but I also, Ray, really want to say a big thank you. You made a big difference with my career over the years, and I appreciate all you've done, Ray, for sure. And all the rest of the people, when I walk through the Hall of Fame, the Claire Christies of the world, and Carol Hoppers and Cubby Crookshanks, and our own Fred Wallace in the Hall of Fame, and But I want to talk about Tom Williams Park just for a sec, if I could, because coaching was wonderful, but there were other things that really made my career really exceptional, and that was Tom Williams Park, and that was the first major baseball field that was built in the community. And I remember Tom Williams sitting in my office. We were good friends, and he said to me, "Mike, what do you think you could raise $50,000 in the community? And you do that, and we'll convince council to put in the other 100, and we'll build a baseball diamond in your community." And so we thought, well, yeah, we can do that. So my brother Peter at the back, and Irene, and family members, and my mom and dad, my mom ran a lot of bake sales and a lot of garage sales, and nickel and dime to get to that 50,000, to raise those funds, and we did raise it, and a lot of family members were involved, and a lot of friends, and my mom and dad in particular. So I have fond memories of. Hey Pete, do you remember back that fundraising event we had at the Coliseum and the Monster Bingo, and we were racing around on our roller skates and waiting on the tables with the bingo cards? We had a lot of fun, eh? But I got to tell you a story about Pete. And this is really not to do with the induction tonight, but as much as Pete was our bad boy. The Farrell's College Ready Mix team is coming up shortly. And I was on that 1969 team, so it's really special tonight. It's very humbling for me to be inducted twice tonight. And but Pete was a bat boy, and we were down Newmarket at a game, and our team members. But it was great seeing the guys tonight over at in the Bay before we came here. We talked for about an hour and reminisced from 50-some years ago. The 1969 team. But anyways, one of our batters got a hit, and I was up to bat next, and so the player that ran to first base, the bat was on the ground, and you pick the bat up and you just kind of throw it like that, and well, Pete was a bat boy, and I forgot he was behind me, and I knocked him out cold, just with the bat. Hey, Pete, you remember? You still got that goose egg, Pete? My brother Pete, and. But no, I just wanted to say thanks again, Dan, and to all of the induction committee and all my friends and family that made it here tonight. This is it really is honestly humbling. And coming back to the city of Owen Sound, where I had my beginning back in 1975, it's just been a great run. And I did it for the love of sport. Believe me, I did it to make a difference in kids' lives, and that's what meant a lot to me. So thank you. Yeah.
Congratulations to Mayor Myatt. Thank you very much. Mike mentioned his brother Peter, and it's good to see Peter here tonight, but of course there's a lot of family rivalries there, and we hesitate to say, but congratulations to Mike on being inducted into the Myatt Horseshoe Tossing Hall of Fame as well. So that's a big achievement. I know Peter's a little sour he's not in yet, but maybe next time around. To make our final presentation tonight from the committee, we would like to welcome Tim Keeling. The induction that Tim will be presenting is sponsored by Lloyd Simpson, the Norm Armstrong family, and by Avita Main Street. Congratulations to the 1969 Bantam A Farrows Haulage and Ready Mix Limited baseball team. '69 was a banner year for the Owen Sound Farrows Haulage and Ready Mix Bantam baseball team. In the Ontario Baseball Association playdowns, in the first round, they eliminated Orillia 2-1. In round 2, Farrows Haulage and Ready Mix swept Port Hope 2 games straight. And in the provincial championship in October of 1969 at Forest, Ontario, Owen Sound defeated Windsor 15-3 in the third and deciding game of that series to capture the Ontario Championship. What's remarkable is that due to inclement weather and unavailable ball diamonds, the Farrows Haulage and Ready Mix team played 6 of the 8 playoff games on the road, posting a record of 6-2. The Owen Sound Bantams also won the Western Ontario Athletic Association Bantam League Championship in '69. Their mark was perfect, 8-0. Farrows Haulage and Ready Mix also represented Owen Sound in 2 tournaments that year, most notably finishing as the semifinalists in the prestigious Mahoney Park Tournament in Hamilton during the summer of 1969.
Good evening. I'm Don Bartley, and I got the short straw for the somebody had to speak. So, but I'm going to introduce the guys that were able to make it tonight. We have 4 guys who were not able to make it, and a fifth, Brian Waller, passed away a number of years ago, and he wasn't, obviously. We have the guys here. We have Brad Howie Porter and Mike Pooner Myatt. Gene will tell you the story about that. Doug Peanut Crawford. Walter the Knob Nobes was our assistant coach and trainer. Beside him is Larry Patterson, Larry Scoop Patterson, for his prowess with the first base glove. Tim Plowhorse Leonard, Dennis Dunk Duggan, and Peter Nibs Myatt. I was just called Bart. Joining us tonight is Don Warden. Dave Warden was our coach back then. Dave lives in BC and dearly wanted to attend, but his doctor said he could not fly because of his diabetes. So his brother Don, who played for the Grays at one time as well with Dave, is here, and he came down from Sudbury just to attend this on behalf of his brother. So, thank you, Don. Walter was telling us that Dave expressly asked his brother to come on his behalf because of these guys right here. So, Hall of Fame Committee, thank you very much for our selection. And I wanted to thank Jim Stewart for our nomination. Jim was also a former Gray. Seems to be a lot of former Grays around. In 1969 was the season that almost never was. Owen Sound Sun-Times sports editor Ted Briggs asked almost daily in his column for volunteer coaches for Owen Sound minor baseball, our Bantam team included. Minor ball president George Follis approached Gray's coach Dave Warden. Dave stepped up to the plate and brought assistant Gray's coach and trainer Walter Nobes with him. My hands are shaking. And another name from a blast from the Grays past, Jim Schonefeld, who went on to NHL fame with the Buffalo Sabres and assistant manager of the New York Rangers, who was 17 years old at the time playing for the Grays. Dave talked him into being our manager. Maybe a little preview of his days with the Rangers, 40 years down the road. He was only 17 at the time. Dave and Walter spent countless hours at Victoria Park Diamond, which is now the site of the YMCA, improving our skills and teamwork. Jim arranged the WO Athletic Association League games, plus tourneys in Chesley and Hamilton. Dave got us exhibition games with Collingwood and Stainer prior to the OBAs, because by that time of the season, it was few and far games between. Back then, you played a series of games, best 2 out of 3s, and you had to keep advancing. We knew we had a solid team after being provincial Pee Wee's finalists in 1967. The extra practices and games were keys to our success in '69. Dave, Walter asked us tonight when we met over previous to coming over here, and he says, what was the, I know what the signal was, but what was the signal for? And he says it was Dave would scratch his groin. Yeah, that's what he did. He scratched his groin. That was our bunt signal. Problem was, when a player, 15-year-old boy standing at the plate looking at his coach, and numerous times he's scratching his groin. It didn't take the opposition long to figure out what our bunt signal was. But he wouldn't change it. Not until OBAs. He finally changed it. Our record stands for itself. The final game, we lost 7-6 down in Windsor Riverside, and then we won. That was one heck of a long bus ride home. After being up 6-0, and the diamond was like a parking lot, and we lost it in 9 innings. Then they came back, and Howie scored the winning run in a 2-1 burner in Owen Sound. Larry Patterson was lights out on the mound, and Pooner made the catch of the century. It was right up there with anything you've seen in the pros. Back to the plate, over the shoulder grab. Did you go down in the ditch up at the Victoria Bark Diamond? There was no fences. So, and with 2 runners on base, and the final score was 2-1. Lenny Plowhorse, he came flying out of nowhere, clomping across the field, and snared a line drive with 2 out with 2 runners on base that game also. So it was quite a win. 2-1 win. We go down to Forest halfway the next day, and Larry Patterson was our only surviving pitcher by that time, and he'd just thrown 9 innings the day before. Took the mound again, pitched another entire 9 innings. There was no pitch limit back then. So if you had the arm and the will to do it, then the ball was yours. We scored 10 runs on Windsor in the first 2 innings. Just hammered them. They had pitched, and they thought that they could get by with their second and third stringers. Didn't work out so well for them. It started raining in the 3rd inning, and we're thinking, uh-oh, this is a rain out. If this is a rain out, this is a washout. We don't get 5 innings in. Coach Warden said, go to the plate, bunt the ball back to the pitcher, first pitch, every one of you. 3 innings in a row, 9 outs in about 15 minutes. And Larry kept them at bay. So after we get it's 10-0 still going into the 6th, and Coach Dave says, all right, boys, you can start hitting again. We hit 3 home runs in the 6th inning and finished them off 15-3. In 2019, we had a 50 years team reunion at Brad Hood's house, Brad and Cheryl Hood's. Our Spitfire second baseman, Brian Waller, was the only one unable to attend because of his passing a few years before that. Everyone else was there. So after 50 years, we hadn't seen each other since our junior years when we were 21. So, and that was 29, or whatever year that was. But so this is, what do we got, 53 years now? So it was well over 40 years since we'd seen most of each other. A few were able to keep touch, but some of the guys, that's the first time I'd seen them in 40 years. And now I've seen them twice in 3 years. It's way too much. I got off my script here, so, but I didn't play lacrosse, so I can't talk that long. This core group of local kids played together for 11 years, from Tyke in 65 to our end of junior in 75. In juvenile and junior, we were the only minor baseball team in the city. We'd like to salute our coaches through all those years. Bob Patterson, Stu Taylor, Ron Turner, Dave Warden, Walter Nobes, Gord Davis, and Dave Arnold. And hopefully I haven't left anybody out. But without those gentlemen, our team wouldn't have existed. And we appreciate all the hundreds of hours that they gave us. So thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Mike. Yeah. No, I wouldn't do it, but you would do it. Go ahead.
Folks, I'm really sorry to do this. Listen, in my notes tonight, oh, this is bad. Jeff and Andy, my two sons, are at my table, and I forgot to mention their names tonight. Jeff and Andy, thanks so much for coming. Love you lots. You know that. I feel bad.
All right, this ends the 22 inductee dinner and ceremony. If you can just give us a second. We want to congratulate all of our inductees into the hall this evening. As they've mentioned, it's meaningful, it's special, and it's humbling. Our next Owen Sound Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony is May the 10th, 2024, right here. And if you know somebody who deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, like the ball teams and like the inductees in the various sports, be sure to make the nominations through City Hall and through our committee. It's a very, very easy process. To wrap it up tonight, please welcome once again Dan Blackburn.
Once again, thanks for coming and joining us this evening for those being inducted into the hall for 2022. One person we owe a big thank you to is Mark Perry and his crew from Rogers TV. Mark gathered all the info from each inductee, put them together, all the pictures, videos to produce files that you saw on the big screen. Also, a big thank you to none other than Fred Wallace. What do you say about Freddie? For commentary for each inductee as we watch their profile and for being our MC this evening. Also to Gary Byers, Light and Sound, and please join me in appreciation of those people for a job well done. Enjoy your ride home.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
Treaty in Cree is Nascomitoin, an oral agreement. And our agreements were always spoken. For George Spence, the core of treaty was Owen, to help one another.
And so we, the commissioners...
He was there for the making of Treaty 9, where the Cree were told...
We will honor this agreement together, for as long as the sun shines and the waters flow.
The Cree made their mark because they were assured that the land would be shared, and they would always be able to harvest what they needed. George Spence was my great-grandfather. In his life, he saw many promises of the treaty go unfulfilled.
Treaties were essential to the creation of Canada. First Nations still fight for the agreements to be honored.
There's a lot of expectations when you wear the flag for Canada. One of them is excellence in your play and your behavior, but the other part is the outreach and giving back to the international community. So I hope they really appreciate what this means on an international stage in terms of growth of the game, importance to other countries, and take that with them. We like to do these types of practices with different countries. It's good for both programs.
There's a lot of, logistics and a lot of planning that goes into this tournament. So for them to take the time out of their busy schedule and support us and help us and just come out here and have a laugh and throw the ball around with us means the world to these guys.
It was a huge surprise for the team. He came up to me and was like, yeah, I organized a practice with Team Canada. A team full of the best players of the world, and I couldn't believe it. And to come out here and have a practice with him was a huge opportunity.
It was almost like a pre-teen dance at the beginning where you had all the Canadian guys were here, all the Austrian guys were here. It was kind of nice when they started going down and they're just simply playing catch. That's sort of a simple exchange, but it's kind of cool to watch that sort of happen naturally, and then, it sort of grew throughout the whole practice.
So come get wide, fake
run by the goalie and just show it in the effort.
They were able to coach us, like all small details, like from the goal, how to take shots, where to look at the goalies and everything. And I think it's a huge learning only in 1 hour.
It's tough to put into words on how much this means to Austria lacrosse. These guys that have a wealth of knowledge and the experience, our players from Austria are like sponges. They take all this info in, and there's no doubt in my mind they're going to go back to their country and share it with the rest of the lacrosse world over there.
These are great memories for the Canadian guys as well. You don't remember the practice where you were fine-tuning the penalty kill or working on your breakouts and stuff. It's the time you came out and got to share a laugh and some passes and play catch with some people you've never met before from parts of the world that you've never been to. And it's all about those encounters that make this tournament and this game so great.
They care about the game and they care about the growth of it, and I'm proud of how they embrace this part of what it means to be for Team Canada.
Box lacrosse still isn't the most popular sport out there, but hopefully practices like this they can bring back to Austria and they can teach their fellow players some stuff and continue to grow the game.
One thing that stands out in my mind is the practice player of the day. These guys gave away some shoulder pads to a guy on our team that didn't have proper structured shoulder pads. So these guys noticed that. It's not easy for them to get gloves or pads or helmets or whatever it is for lacrosse.
Very surprised and thank you for the gift. It's great. It was great to make practice with you guys.
That simple thing that they showed gratitude towards one of our players, and the look on his face that made my day.
For me, his expression and how happy he was worth it all. I was lucky enough to play for Canada in 2003 when this whole international indoor tournament started, and to see the growth in every 4 years. Where the tournament is now from back in 2003, you're seeing the fruits of those interactions, the health of the countries and the volume of the countries and the overall growth of the program has been good to see over the years.
Me being a newer coach and newer to this World Championship, I look forward to kind of seeing that growth within, Austria lacrosse and these newer clubs. And I got to say thank you to you guys and Glenn for giving us this opportunity. So thanks, Bill.
If we can't win this thing, we're hoping Austria does now.
Yeah, we'll see him in the finals.
Do you have something to share? Let everyone know about your next meeting, your need for volunteers, or your fundraising event on the Rogers TV Community Billboard. Send us your words and we'll bring them to life on Rogers TV and rogerstv.com. When it's time to spread the word, go to rogerstv.com to add your announcement to the Community Billboard.
I'm Gagweg. My name means everything.
Tom Longboats.
I am Wolf Clan, Onondaga Nation. I've run many different races. I've run to survive and to be free. I've run to win for honor.
His people might be lazy, but this one's damn fast.
My people respected our runners, people who carried important messages from village to village.
I need a guide to the next post. Dispatch carrier, sir. I can get you there.
God's sakes, man, slow down. Where do you think I am, Tom Longboat?
No, sir. I am.
Running makes me feel alive. It's everything.
Tom Longboat was the first Indigenous person to win the Boston Marathon. He ran his way to international fame and became an inspiration to generations of athletes.
Do you want to play for KW Braves or Team Canada?
Team Canada.
When you play, who's your coach?
You.
Do you guys like having me as your coach?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
if I come sit. Do you think we can answer their questions just like you guys just did for me? Because you guys did a really good job. We have to do our interview first, then we can go play lacrosse. How about that?
Turn our listening ears on. Ready? Oh, they're on. Okay, we're ready.
Lacrosse is one of those things where it's always meant a lot to me, and my family really supported me growing up, but it's been really cool to share this experience with my family and my kids.
Putting that jersey on the first time was extra special. It took an extra second to look at what I was doing and think back and think of the people who helped me get there, especially my wife, who was home with these guys while I was off chasing lacrosse. So for everybody to be here, it's been extra special.
My son loves the game, and he loves watching, and my daughter, hopefully the same thing. She'll love to come out and watch and support, and then I get to coach and I get to be a part of it as well.
What's your favorite part about this trip?
Winning all the games, going to new places.
What about you, Ben?
Winning games.
Seeing how happy he is when he comes out and watches the games.
I know you want to play
How
lacrosse.
excited he is to go play lacrosse, even watching guys throw the ball off the wall. It's something that I think he's very passionate about, and it's definitely something that I feel that's rubbed off.
I was always, encouraged and motivated to have fun. My dad didn't play lacrosse, so when I'd get in the car after the game, he would just ask, do you have fun? And he didn't know any better to say what I did wrong. It always, motivated me, and I enjoyed going to lacrosse. So I know as a dad now, I'm just going to always focus on making sure they're enjoying whatever they're doing. So it's important for me to make sure, whatever they're doing, it's fun for them. That's nice, Benny.
Something I've learned in lacrosse is hard work. I think everybody is here in this position because they've been the hardest working players in all of their collective teams, and something I'd pass along to them is your dreams can come true as long as you put the time and the effort in. Wearing the Maple Leaf, it's something that's a big honor. It's something I'm very humbled to do, and I hope that they can look back on this and know how special it was to me and to share that with them.
This is the first time I've been able to play for Team Canada, and it came a little bit later in my career. If it happened earlier, these guys might not be around, so the fact that it came a little bit later made it extra special that my family's here. It's great that my family can share this with me.
Who's daddy?
Maddie.
Maddie Beers, right? What number is he?
2.
Number 2. And what do we say when daddy's on the floor?
Oh, Canada, go.
Go, Canada, go.
Love you, buddy.
Does my equipment make me look like a superhero, Ben?
No.
No. Good answer.
Are you the type who would keep going or stop? It's not easy to stop when you have an addiction. Legalizing cannabis won't stop addiction. It trivializes its consumption. Let's be vigilant. If you need help, visit portage.ca.
In a backyard rink for my family and I, and that's where my sister and I, spend a lot of time. That's where I sort of learned how to play hockey. Today will be a little bit different, a little bit more, special. It's a real hockey game, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Hey guys, we're the Van Frankfurt Twins at TV Place. Today we're here for the Ottawa 67's first ever outdoor game. The guys grew up playing on outdoor rinks in their community, so let's see what they have to say about playing on an outdoor rink this size in front of a huge fan base. What were your thoughts when you heard that the 67s were going to get to play in their first outdoor game?
The timing of the game is really special because after that game, we're going in the long break. So for all the players, all their family are in town.
It's crazy just me being a 17-year-old kid and being from here in my hometown, big opportunities to play out here.
You watch the NHL team everywhere around the league play those games. Suddenly, you're the little boy who has a chance to be part of it.
It's not every day this happens, so a bunch of guys are really excited for this.
We never played hockey growing up, so you're going to have to explain to us the ritual of going to play at an ODR from start to finish. So when you leave the house with your skates over your shoulder to the time you get home when the street lights are just coming on.
Usually I'll just pop a toque on, grab your gloves, stick, and skates, and you'll just walk over to the rink.
You'd put your boots on, you'd carry your skates. It would be a cold night for sure.
Either find a bench or a snowbank, just try to tie your skates quick and then put your gloves on so your hands don't get too cold.
No matter who you're with, it's always a good time, whether it's your best friends, your sister like me, or strangers in the park. You know, you never know who you're going to be with, but it's a fun time for as long as you can before your parents say, get home for dinner or you got to school tomorrow or something.
It's just the love for the game that a lot of boys and girls have, and it's what makes good hockey players good, just playing out there for hours. It really develops your skills.
I grew up playing with my brother in outdoor rinks. Every year in the Christmas break, we get a little shinny game with our whole family and friends that come out, and it's in our blood to be competitive, so we keep a little, chippy out there.
For most of the Canadian, it's something we did in the past, play outside. That's how we build. We're Canadian and proud of it.
Considering you grew up playing on the rinks around the community, what does it mean for you now that you get to play in a 67 sweater at TD Place on an outdoor rink, and the night after the Sens got to play on that same rink?
Just a lot of historic moments that have happened, and leading up to this moment, it's pretty cool.
It's pretty special. I've been to a couple Winter Classics, and here I am playing in one myself.
We went to the game yesterday. Pretty nice for our ownership to get us tickets.
I don't think Brian Adams will be coming out for our intermission, but you know what? That was pretty cool to be a part of.
The 67s are very active in the community, and you give back a lot to your fans. So can you tell us what you think this means to them, having an extra special game like this just before Christmas?
A lot of fans messaged us and said they're excited to come watch us play. We really like our fans, and we know what they do for us, so this is going to be a big game for them.
Junior hockey is not just about hockey. It's good for the young men they are to realize the impact, the role model they can be.
In a city like Ottawa, the 67s are a very old tradition, 50 years now, and it's an honor to play for the team, and at the same time, it brings the community together. I know there's going to be a lot of young hockey players here today, and as an older guy in this team, I love to see the little guys come and support us because, I was one of those kids, and now that I can be a mentor or a leader for them, I just want to, show them a good experience.
It's important for us to build great value inside of our organization and to make sure our players are close to the people, and that is a good life lesson. This might be the only chance in their life to play in those games. You never know. So I hope they will enjoy the experience.
I'm Dave Carr, in for David Shearman on Politically Speaking. Our next program is a mayoralty debate. Richard Thomas and Ian Boddy want to be mayor of Owen Sound for the next 4 years. We'll ask them questions on Politically Speaking on Rogers TV.
It's been quite an experience, and when you look back when you were younger and starting out, I would have never thought that I'd be going to see the 67s play, and I've been so lucky to be going for so many years. It just doesn't seem possible, but when you look back, it seems like yesterday. We still haven't lost the desire and the excitement to go and watch them. I met Marilyn at Central Pay Office when we were about maybe 17.
At the finance department. There was 2 units there. I was on one side, she was on the other side.
There was a long time we hadn't seen each other.
We went to a 67 game and she was up about 3 rows from me.
We ran into each other and made up friends again.
And we like razzing all the players. What are you doing, Trombley? Mahaffemeyer, he could play better. He usually takes that puck up and goes. Now what did 9 do that for? They waste too much time passing. 2 isn't playing the way he can play. They can't hear us, but we know what they're doing. He should know better. Sometimes I'll have things to go on Friday night with my son and his wife and my granddaughter, and I'll say, on a Friday night? Are you crazy? Change that night. I said, I can't miss my 67s game. Oh, one won't hurt you. So no.
For 50 years, you've each gotten season tickets to the 67s, and for 30 of those years, you've seen them play together. Would you say that you're recognizable faces in the TD Place Arena, having supported the team for so many years?
It's amazing the people who come and speak to us. It's nice to be recognized that they're going to the games and they know we're there in those seats all the time. So I guess it's just normal to say hello. Since we met Mrs. D, she brings a lot of the boys up. And then sometimes when they're not playing, if they're hurt or that, they sit up behind us. And we've told the boys that shoot the puck, don't be passing it all the time.
They probably walk away and say, those women, are they ever bossy?
Brian Kilrea, 67's coach for more than 30 years, came by to say hi to you yesterday.
Help me coach. Yeah, how many years did you help me though?
Oh my God. Years and years.
Yeah, that's where I got all my tips.
What does it mean to you to be recognizable to someone who's left such a legacy in the 67's organization?
I couldn't believe it when he came up and he said, oh, not you girls. And I'm thinking, Brian.
When Brian was there, it was just unreal how good the team was. He seemed to have a way with the boys.
Over 50 years, you've seen a lot of players come in and out of Ottawa. What's it like to see some of those guys now playing at the highest level in the NHL?
It's an honor to be able to watch TV now and say, oh, I watched him play as a kid.
When you look in the stats of the paper and you hear these players that played for 67s, you watch now when the games are on TV. Right now, I think I counted that I can count about 17 to 20 players still playing.
I know over 50 years you have a lot of different special hockey memories on and off the ice, but is there any that stands out for you as being something that you're always going to remember?
Oh, our last Memorial Cup when we were tied, we told one of the players, shoot the damn puck, and that's all you heard. Shoot it, and he's standing there and we're thinking, if you don't shoot, we're going to lose. And finally he shot it and went in, and then they all went over and jumped in the canal, and I thought, oh, you crazy kids.
I'll never forget one night I was almost crying going to my seat. I had 4 tickets and I saw this man come in with 3 children. I gave him the 4 tickets. I still get emotional when I think of this. The one little boy looked at his dad and he says, now we can have some popcorn, eh, Daddy? And that just broke my heart.
Des from Almont, he would get a butterscotch pie. And I don't mean just a small pie, I mean a huge pie. And then he brings it down, and I said, Des, you'll never get that in there. I'll put it in. So he brought it in, put it under our seats, and at intermission, we were sitting there, all of us eating the butterscotch pie.
What has kept you coming back and so excited and invested in the 67's team?
The night out, to see the players playing hockey and see what's going on, it's a good entertainment night.
For me, I think it's the outing and something to look forward to, and the fellowship. Maybe 8-10 of us always sat together. It's down now just to Marilyn and I. It was an evening of entertainment. We'd go out, the gang of us, for meals before the game.
Good afternoon.
What does your friendship mean to the both of you, and what does it mean that you get to go to 67's games together?
Means a lot when you're by yourself and you got somebody who cares.
Just to have our friendship and be able to go out together, and then we talk about the game or the players. We enjoy each other's company.
I've enjoyed every year of it from the beginning till now, and I'm very grateful to have Marilyn as such a good friend who is there for me, as I said, my right hand.
If I didn't have it, I'd be lost. I don't know what I'd do in the winter months.
two of the best